In a world dominated by noise, whether it's the constant barrage of social media updates, the pressures of modern life, or the never-ending need to voice our opinions, it's easy to forget the incredible power that silence holds. While many view silence as mere quietness, those who understand its true potential recognize it as a tool for immense personal growth, emotional mastery, and profound influence. This is where Stoicism, the ancient Greek philosophy that teaches the art of living virtuously and rationally, offers timeless wisdom. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca championed the idea that true power lies not in reacting impulsively to external events, but in cultivating inner calm and clarity. Silence, for them, was not merely the absence of noise, but the presence of control, a moment of reflection where we choose how to respond to the world around us. Whether faced with conflict, criticism, or even personal doubts, the Stoics believed that in the space of silence we find strength, peace, and ultimately the ability to influence others without uttering a single word. But what happens when you let go of the impulse to immediately react? How do people respond when you choose silence over words? And most importantly, how can this practice transform your life and relationships? In this article, we will dive into the power of silence through the lens of Stoic philosophy, exploring 10 powerful tricks or insights that will help you harness silence as a tool for greater self-mastery and influence. If you're ready to embrace a quieter, more powerful way of being, stick around. We'll guide you through each trick that can help you shift your mindset and master the art of silence. Don't forget to like, share, and comment below with your thoughts or experiences. Let's spark a conversation on how silence can truly change the way we engage with the world around us. Trick 1. Pause before reacting. Virtue of temperance. In a world that celebrates speed, instant reactions, quick decisions, and fast-paced conversations, it's easy to overlook the power of a simple pause. Yet, in the heart of Stoic philosophy lies a powerful tool that can completely transform how we navigate the world: the pause before reacting. This seemingly small act of taking a moment of silence before responding is not only a profound practice for emotional control, but it's also a testament to the Stoic virtue of temperance, the ability to moderate one's impulses and emotions. Imagine a scenario where you're confronted with a situation that triggers your emotions. Perhaps someone insults you, challenges your authority, or presents an opinion you find offensive. The natural instinct is to react immediately, to defend yourself, or to argue back. But in that very moment, the Stoic pause offers a different path. Instead of jumping to a reaction, you choose silence, allowing yourself the time and space to breathe, reflect, and respond with clarity and rationality. This act of pausing is incredibly powerful. By not allowing our immediate impulses to dictate our actions, we take the reins of our own emotional state. The Stoics understood that while we cannot control the actions of others, we always have control over how we choose to respond. This idea is beautifully captured in Epictetus' teachings, where he reminds us, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. The beauty of silence in this context is that it gives us the opportunity to make that choice consciously. It allows us to step back from the emotional tide and observe it from a distance, just as a wise observer might look at a storm from the safety of a distant shore. When we react impulsively, we risk losing our composure, often saying or doing things we later regret. But when we pause and allow silence to fill the space, we gain a moment of self-reflection, a chance to decide whether reacting is necessary or if we can simply let go. Silence also has a remarkable way of affecting those around us. When we refuse to engage in the expected knee-jerk response, we often catch others off guard. Instead of escalating a situation or feeding into negativity, Our silence can diffuse tension, convey strength, and invite deeper reflection from others. In fact, people often respect those who can maintain composure and resist the urge to react, seeing them as more thoughtful, composed, and in control. The next time you find yourself in a situation that would typically spark an emotional response, remember the power of the pause. Give yourself the space to reflect, to choose your words wisely, and to embody the Stoic virtue of temperance. By embracing this silence, you're not just avoiding impulsivity, you're becoming the master of your own emotional landscape, and in doing so, you might just inspire those around you to do the same. Incorporating this pause into your daily life may not always be easy, but the rewards are immense. It helps you build emotional resilience, respond with wisdom, and ultimately take control of your actions rather than letting them control you. So, the next time you're faced with a challenge, pause, reflect, and then choose to act, not out of impulse, but out of deliberate intention. Trick number 2. Maintain composure in conflict, mastery over passion. In the heat of a conflict, when emotions run high and words seem to fly like arrows aimed directly at your core, it's incredibly difficult to remain composed. The temptation to defend yourself, to counterattack, or to retaliate in kind is often overwhelming. But here's where silence becomes your most powerful weapon. Maintaining composure in conflict, particularly through the art of silence, allows you to rise above the emotional turmoil and meet the challenge with the strength of self-control. This is at the heart of Stoic philosophy, the mastery over one's passions. The Stoics understood that emotions, while natural, can cloud our judgment and lead us to make rash decisions. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote about the importance of not letting passion dictate our actions. When you are disturbed by an external event, he said, it's not the event itself, but your judgment about it that disturbs you. In other words, the conflict isn't truly with the person or the situation, it's with your own reaction to it. When you maintain silence in a conflict, you create space to observe the situation without immediate emotional involvement. You detach from the immediate surge of anger, frustration, or hurt, and let the silence act as a buffer between the stimulus and your response. This pause allows you to reflect. Is this conflict truly worth engaging in? Do you need to defend yourself, or can you simply let the other person's words or actions wash over you like rain on a stone? By choosing silence over impulsive reaction, you demonstrate not weakness, but remarkable strength. The person who remains calm in the midst of chaos exudes an inner peace that others often can't help but respect. Your silence does not mean that you are giving up or backing down. Rather, it is a deliberate choice to avoid being swept up in the emotional currents of the moment. It's a demonstration of control, maturity, and wisdom. As Epictetus taught, no man is free who is not master of himself. The beauty of this trick is that silence has an undeniable power to transform the dynamics of any conflict. Rather than escalating the situation or fueling further anger, your calm and composed silence has the potential to de-escalate, shift the energy, and even change the direction of the conversation. This is not a passive response. It's an active choice to preserve your peace and maintain control over your emotions, no matter how volatile the situation may seem. Next time you find yourself in a conflict, try using silence as your tool for composure. It's a practice that takes time, but the rewards are immeasurable. Not only will it help you maintain your own peace, but it will also demonstrate to others that you are not easily moved by external chaos. Your ability to remain unshaken will be a powerful reminder that true strength lies in self-control, not in reacting impulsively. If you've ever experienced a moment where silence worked wonders in a conflict, Share your thoughts in the comments below. How did it shift the dynamics of the situation for you? Trick 3. The art of non-reaction, responding, not reacting. In an age where instant gratification and knee-jerk reactions are the norm, mastering the art of non-reaction is one of the most profound gifts you can give yourself. The ability to pause before responding, to choose not to react in the heat of the moment, is an incredibly powerful way to regain control over your emotions and your life. It's a core principle in Stoic philosophy that teaches us to respond thoughtfully, not react impulsively. And this, my friends, is where silence comes into play. Imagine this: you're at work and a colleague criticizes you publicly. Perhaps it's unfair, maybe it stings, and your first instinct is to immediately defend yourself, argue, or let your emotions take over. This is the perfect moment to practice the Stoic virtue of non-reaction. Instead of launching into a defense or retaliating with words, you take a deep breath and remain silent. By doing so, you're not just avoiding conflict, you're engaging in a powerful act of self-discipline. Silence, in this context, does not mean submitting to mistreatment or passively accepting what's being said. It's about stepping back from the immediate emotional surge and choosing to pause before engaging. It's an acknowledgement that your initial emotional reaction may not always be the most rational or helpful response. In that moment, your silence gives you the precious opportunity to assess the situation with clarity. What is truly important here? Is this moment worth getting upset over, or can you let it pass without it affecting your peace of mind? The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught us that it is not the events themselves that disturb us, but our judgment of them. By choosing non-reaction, you strip away the judgment that feeds your emotional responses. You give yourself the space to observe and reflect, rather than simply reacting out of habit. This doesn't mean you remain passive forever. Instead, it means you are responding with intention, choosing your words and actions carefully, rather than succumbing to the knee-jerk impulse to fight or flee. The beauty of this trick lies in the profound control it grants you over your emotional state. When you react impulsively, you allow the outside world to dictate your inner peace. But when you practice non-reaction, you become the master of your emotional responses. You no longer let the words or actions of others disrupt your peace. Instead, you create space for thoughtful action, where your response is measured and aligned with your values rather than your emotions. In practice, non-reaction creates a ripple effect in your relationships. When others see that you don't easily fall prey to emotional outbursts, they begin to respect your composure and restraint. They may even begin to follow your example, bringing more thoughtful, measured responses into their own behavior. By cultivating non-reaction, you become a steady presence, one that is not easily swayed by external circumstances, but is firmly grounded in self-control and wisdom. So, the next time you feel the urge to react in the heat of a moment, take a step back and embrace the power of silence. Respond with thoughtfulness and clarity rather than impulsiveness. It's a practice that will not only empower you, but it will also inspire those around you to choose their responses with greater care and intention. Trick 4. Let go of the need for validation, self-sufficiency. In a world where social approval and external validation are often sought after, there is a rare yet incredibly liberating power in silence, especially when it comes to letting go of the need for validation. For many, the instinct to seek approval from others is deeply ingrained, whether it's in the form of likes on social media, praise from colleagues, or the desire to impress friends and family. But what if I told you that true freedom comes not from the approval of others, but from the ability to stand in silence, fully confident in your own worth? This is exactly what Stoicism teaches us, the importance of self-sufficiency. For the Stoic, true happiness and peace of mind come from within, not from external sources. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, emphasized that we should not rely on the approval or opinions of others to define our self-worth. In his words, what we do in life echoes in eternity, and it is not what happens to us, but how we respond that shapes us. By remaining silent in moments when we expect or crave validation, we stop giving away our power to others and reclaim our sense of inner strength. Think about a time when you felt the urge to explain yourself, to justify your actions, or to seek reassurance from others. Perhaps you shared an idea and waited eagerly for feedback, or worked hard on a project only to feel deflated when it wasn't acknowledged. The desire to be recognized is natural, but Stoic wisdom invites us to release this need. Instead of seeking validation from others, silence allows you to look inward for affirmation. By practicing silence in such moments, you remind yourself that your value doesn't hinge on external recognition. You are enough just as you are. When you stop seeking validation, you become free. You no longer base your self-worth on the opinions or reactions of others, which are often fleeting and subjective. Instead, your sense of self becomes rooted in your actions, your principles, and your inner voice. Silence, in this context, isn't about shutting others out. It's about tuning into your own truth and knowing that you are enough without the need for external affirmation. So the next time you find yourself craving validation, take a step back and let silence speak volumes. Stand firm in your own worth and trust that your actions, aligned with your values, are the truest form of validation you can receive. This shift will empower you to move through the world with greater confidence and self-assurance, unshaken by the need for others' approval. Trick 5. Let silence speak for your integrity, honesty without words. In a world where words are constantly flowing, whether in conversations, arguments, or social media posts, sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is the one left unsaid. Silence, when used strategically, becomes a profound form of communication, a way of standing firm in your integrity without uttering a single word. This is an essential trick in the Stoic toolkit, allowing silence to speak for your honesty and principles, even when words might seem like the obvious choice. Integrity, at its core, is about being true to your values, regardless of external pressures or expectations. The Stoics believed that living in accordance with virtue, honesty, courage, wisdom, and justice was the highest form of life. But there are moments when speaking up might compromise those values. It's in these moments that silence becomes an act of moral strength, where refraining from speaking becomes your most honest and genuine response. Think about a time when you were tempted to embellish the truth, to avoid uncomfortable confrontation, or to go along with something that didn't feel quite right. In these instances, silence serves as your safeguard. Instead of speaking words that may bend the truth or fuel dishonesty, you let silence speak for your integrity. By holding back your words, you avoid participating in something that doesn't align with your values. You refuse to engage in the manipulation, flattery, or falsehoods that might be present in the situation. The beauty of silence here is that it doesn't mean you are passive or weak. It means you are standing resolutely in your truth, without the need for validation or explanation. When you choose to remain silent in the face of dishonesty or moral compromise, you communicate loudly and clearly that you will not be swayed or corrupted by external pressures. Your silence becomes a testament to your character, signaling that you are more interested in doing what's right than in winning an argument or pleasing others. This trick is not always easy, especially in a world that often values speaking up and voicing opinions over quiet reflection. But the power of silence in preserving your integrity is unmatched. It's a subtle yet powerful way to align your actions with your values, demonstrating that your honesty isn't for show, but is rooted in something far deeper. In those moments when silence is your choice, you strengthen your commitment to living authentically. Next time you find yourself in a situation where words could compromise your integrity, remember that silence can be your most honest response. By choosing not to speak, you remain true to your values, and in doing so, you build a foundation of trust, respect, and moral clarity. Trick 7. Give space for reflection. Encourage thoughtfulness in others. In today's fast-paced world, where everyone is constantly talking, posting, and sharing opinions, we often forget the power of giving others the space to think and reflect. We are conditioned to fill every silence with words, to jump in with our responses or solutions the moment there's a pause in conversation. Yet one of the most profound ways to create meaningful dialogue and encourage deeper connections is by offering the gift of silence, allowing others the time and space they need to reflect before responding. This trick, rooted in Stoic wisdom, not only enhances your interactions, but also nurtures a more thoughtful, introspective environment for those around you. Think about the last conversation you had. Did you find yourself speaking over others, finishing their sentences, or rushing to fill any gaps in the dialogue? It's a natural tendency, but it's also a missed opportunity for greater connection. When we give others the time to think, we signal respect for their thoughts and ideas. Silence in these moments invites them to reflect, process, and speak with greater clarity. It allows for a more thoughtful, intentional response rather than a rushed or instinctive reaction. This principle of thoughtful pause is deeply embedded in Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, often spoke about the value of patience and the importance of cultivating inner calm. For him, silence wasn't just about refraining from speaking, it was about creating a space where wisdom and reflection could emerge. In a world full of distractions, allowing people the time to reflect in silence encourages them to tap into their own inner wisdom and respond more meaningfully. Moreover, when you consciously practice silence, you foster a culture of respect and deep thinking in your conversations. Instead of pushing your own agenda or speaking over others, you invite them to take ownership of their thoughts. This can be incredibly empowering for people, giving them a chance to process their feelings and ideas without the pressure of immediate validation or judgment. The result? Conversations that are richer, more insightful, and more harmonious. In the professional world too, silence can be an invaluable tool. As a leader or a collaborator, giving space for reflection allows your team members to offer more creative solutions and well-thought-out ideas. When they feel that their thoughts are valued and that they have time to articulate them, they become more engaged and empowered to contribute meaningfully. Next time you find yourself in a discussion, resist the urge to fill every pause with words. Embrace the power of silence, giving others the space to reflect and offer their thoughts in their own time. In doing so, you not only encourage deeper conversations, but also create a more thoughtful, respectful environment where everyone's voice can truly be heard. Avoid the trap of gossip, guarding the mind. In every social setting, whether it's at work, a gathering of friends, or even on social media, gossip is ever present. It can be tempting to join in, share an opinion, or indulge in the latest juicy tidbit about someone else. After all, it feels good to be in the loop, to belong, and to share in the collective buzz of conversation. However, this seemingly innocent habit is often more destructive than we realize, both for our mental well-being and for our integrity. The Stoic practice of silence is an invaluable tool to help us avoid the trap of gossip, allowing us to protect our minds and preserve our peace. Gossip, while entertaining in the moment, can be corrosive. It clouds our judgment, stirs negative emotions, and often leads to unfair judgments about others. As Seneca, a leading Stoic philosopher, wisely noted, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." When we indulge in gossip, we allow our minds to be filled with negativity and false assumptions. Instead of focusing on what truly matters, our own growth and well-being, we become distracted by the shortcomings, mistakes, or drama of others. The beauty of silence in this context is that it acts as a safeguard for your mind. When you're in a situation where gossip is flowing freely, choosing silence can be a powerful act of self-care. By not participating, you free yourself from the burden of negativity and judgment. Silence in these moments doesn't just protect you from speaking ill of others. It also keeps your mind clear of toxic thoughts and distractions that don't serve your purpose or your peace. Moreover, silence signals wisdom and maturity. When you refrain from engaging in gossip, you convey that your time and energy are better spent on things that align with your values, things like self-improvement, kindness, and integrity. Your silence becomes a statement of strength, showing that you refuse to engage in harmful behavior, no matter how tempting it may seem. It shows that you recognize the power of words and choose to use them for constructive purposes rather than fueling negativity. Trick 8. Use silence to empower others, listening more than speaking. In a world where everyone seems eager to share their opinions and be heard, the art of listening is often overlooked. Yet, one of the most powerful ways to foster deeper, more meaningful relationships and to truly empower those around you is by practicing the gift of silence, specifically through listening more than speaking. The simple act of offering someone your full attention, without interrupting or rushing to fill the space with your own words, can transform the dynamics of any interaction. This practice not only deepens understanding, but also shows the speaker that their thoughts and feelings are truly valued. Think about a time when you felt truly listened to. You weren't rushed, interrupted, or made to feel as though your thoughts were less important than someone else's. Instead, the person you were talking to gave you the space to express yourself fully, without judgment or interruption. How did that make you feel? Empowered, right? That's the power of silence at work. When you allow someone else the space to speak freely, you empower them to express themselves authentically and with confidence. By simply listening, you create a safe space where people feel valued and understood. The Stoics understood the importance of listening deeply, without the need to immediately offer advice or responses. Marcus Aurelius, in his reflections, often encouraged taking the time to listen attentively and with full presence. This doesn't mean we should be passive or disengaged in conversations. Instead, it means we should focus on actively listening, absorbing the other person's words, and offering silence as a form of respect. When we allow others to speak uninterrupted, we show them that we believe their thoughts matter, which in turn makes them feel heard and appreciated. Moreover, by practicing silence in conversations, you allow yourself to learn more. How often do we find ourselves so eager to speak that we miss out on the valuable insights others might be offering? By resisting the impulse to speak and instead focusing on listening, we open ourselves up to new perspectives, ideas, and ways of thinking that we might have otherwise missed. This doesn't just enrich the conversation, it also strengthens our relationships by showing that we are present, engaged, and truly interested in what the other person has to say. In your personal and professional life, adopting the practice of listening more than speaking can be a game changer. Whether you're having a one-on-one conversation or managing a team, the power of silence in listening shows others that their voices are important. It fosters trust, builds stronger connections, and encourages collaboration. So, the next time you're in a conversation, resist the urge to speak and instead embrace silence as a powerful tool for connection and empowerment. You'll be amazed at how much more meaningful your relationships become when you listen to understand, not just to reply. The act of remaining silent in the face of gossip also invites a shift in the dynamic. Others around you may notice your restraint and begin to follow your example. It creates an atmosphere of respect and mindfulness where people feel encouraged to engage in deeper, more meaningful conversations. By choosing silence, you not only protect your own mind, but also contribute to fostering an environment of positivity and respect. Next time you find yourself caught in the web of gossip, remember that silence is not weakness, it's a sign of strength. Guard your mind, protect your peace, and choose to let silence be your shield against the toxic pull of idle chatter. Trick 9. Silence as a shield against manipulation. Defend your boundaries. In today's world, we are constantly navigating social dynamics, and not every interaction is as straightforward as it seems. Sometimes people can try to manipulate, guilt trip, or push us into making decisions we aren't comfortable with. Whether it's a colleague pressuring you to take on extra work, a friend trying to impose their expectations, or someone attempting to take advantage of your kindness, the power of silence can be an incredibly effective shield. By choosing silence over engaging or reacting, you defend your personal boundaries and reclaim control over your own choices. One of the most powerful things about silence is that it doesn't need to be explained. When you're faced with a manipulative or coercive situation, remaining silent gives you the space to assess what's happening without being swept away by emotions or outside pressure. Silence allows you to hold your ground, even if the other person tries to push you toward a decision you don't want to make. Instead of defending yourself with words or justifying your actions, silence gives you the strength to stay rooted in your truth. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus taught that the greatest power we have is our ability to control our own reactions. They emphasized the importance of not letting others sway us from our values, and silence is one of the most potent tools we can use to do this. When someone tries to manipulate you, whether overtly or subtly, they are attempting to breach your mental or emotional boundaries. By choosing silence in these situations, you preserve your inner peace and keep your boundaries intact. Think about a situation where you've been pressured or manipulated in the past. Perhaps someone asked you to do something you didn't want to, or tried to make you feel guilty for a decision you had made. In those moments, responding with silence instead of defensiveness or agreeing out of guilt can be incredibly powerful. Your silence isn't a sign of weakness. It's a form of self-respect and a demonstration that you will not be pushed into compliance. Additionally, your silence in such situations sends a message to the other person. It says, "I will not be controlled or coerced into doing something that goes against my will." The more you practice this, the more you reinforce your own boundaries, making it less likely that others will try to manipulate or pressure you in the future. The next time you find yourself in a situation where someone is attempting to manipulate your emotions or actions, consider using silence as your defense. It may be uncomfortable at first, but with time, you'll come to realize that silence is not only a way to protect your boundaries, but also a powerful tool for maintaining your peace and personal integrity. Trick 10. Silence as a tool for personal growth. Embrace solitude for clarity. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to become overwhelmed by external noise, the endless stream of notifications, the constant chatter in conversations, and the pressure to always be doing something. Yet, some of the most profound moments of growth and clarity come when we embrace silence and solitude. This trick, which may feel counterintuitive in a world that constantly encourages action and interaction, is deeply rooted in Stoic wisdom. By intentionally seeking out silence, we create the mental space necessary for self-reflection, personal growth, and a deeper understanding of our true selves. The Stoics believed in the importance of cultivating inner stillness, which is why they often sought solitude for moments of contemplation. Seneca, in particular, extolled the virtues of withdrawing from the noise of the world to focus on one's thoughts. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants, he wrote, urging us to simplify our lives and embrace quiet moments to understand our deeper desires and true nature. This is where silence can truly unlock personal growth. When we make time for silence and solitude, we step away from external distractions and allow ourselves to tune into our inner world. It's in these moments that we gain clarity on our values, goals, and purpose. Instead of being influenced by the opinions of others or the pressures of society, we can ask ourselves the deeper questions. What do I truly want in life? What are the things that bring me fulfillment? What do I need to let go of to grow? Silence allows for the introspection necessary to answer these questions. It's a space where we can examine our past actions, learn from them, and adjust our course accordingly. It's also a time for creative thought. Many great ideas and breakthroughs emerge when we step away from the noise and give our minds the freedom to wander. In this silence, we cultivate the self-awareness needed to make intentional decisions that align with our values, rather than reacting to the external world. Moreover, solitude is not about isolation or avoidance. It's about creating the mental clarity needed to reconnect with our deeper selves. In silence, we shed the constant bombardment of external influences and allow our intuition and wisdom to rise to the surface. This clarity strengthens our resolve, helps us set boundaries, and provides the emotional resilience needed to face challenges with equanimity. So, next time you feel the weight of the world pressing in, consider embracing silence as a tool for personal growth. Make space for solitude, even if it's just for a few moments each day, and use it to reflect, recharge, and gain clarity. You'll be amazed at the insights and growth that emerge when you allow silence to guide your journey. Conclusion: embrace the power of silence. The power of silence is far more profound than most of us realize. In a world constantly filled with noise, distractions, and the pressure to always be doing, silence offers us an invaluable opportunity to reconnect with ourselves, protect our boundaries, and foster deeper, more meaningful connections with others. By embracing silence, whether it's in moments of conflict, reflection, or even in our daily interactions, we can cultivate inner peace, emotional resilience, and personal growth. As we've explored through these 10 powerful tricks, silence allows us to control our responses, empower others, and maintain our integrity. It enables us to step back from manipulative situations, give space for thoughtful reflection, and strengthen our capacity for self-awareness. Each of these moments, whether they're marked by intentional quiet in the face of conflict or solitude for deep self-reflection, become opportunities for us to live more consciously, aligned with our deepest values and wisdom. The next time you're faced with a challenge, a conversation, or a moment of decision, consider how silence can be a tool for empowerment and growth. In doing so, you'll discover that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply to be still and listen to yourself and to the world around you. I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. How has silence helped you in your own life? What moments of stillness have allowed you to grow or make more mindful choices? Don't forget to like and share if you found value in these insights. And remember, sometimes silence speaks louder than words.